I suppose when it said there was a battle, well, there was one hell of a battle on the screen.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
Here.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Good to be here.
So, you mentioned The Hobbit. Do you know much about The Hobbit?
Not a lot, really. Took 3 years to make. And I was privileged to play Radagast Brown, a wizard, which I ran home when I got the part, read the book, and found out it was hardly mentioned. But luckily there was a wee bit more of him in the film. But it's great because I think about maybe 8 or 9 times, maybe even more over the 3 years. I didn't stay there all the time like the rest. I kind of flew in and out. And so I always flew around the world west, following the sun. And each time I went, I lost a day. So by the time I'd finished the film, I was 8 days younger than when I started it.
So Sylvester, you've done a lot of work with Big Finish, obviously.
Yes.
Do you approach acting for film differently than what you approach it for audio?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is different. I mean, the audio is I'm 6 feet tall, and the sets don't shake, and I don't have to learn the lines. I wouldn't be able to do that on film. It'd be a bit difficult, really. But it also, radio, it becomes internal. It's all in your head and comes out of your mouth, and all the expression and everything's got to come out through here. And it's very enjoyable to do. It's a very kind of inner kind of concentrated thing. Whereas film, as you know, it's visual. But film is different from theatre acting, because theatre acting is like painting with a big, broad brush. It has, depending on the size of the theatre, but, when we were doing King Lear, Tour in the World, we were playing 2,000 seaters. So you had to be big and bold. And then you had to do a film, and it's like painting with a fine Japanese brush. It's kind of again, that's internal. I love that. It's kind of orgasmic sometimes when you feel you got it right. Not very often. But the older you get, it's even harder.
Talking about getting things right, obviously we now have our latest incarnation of the Doctor. I'm curious if you think they got that decision right. I think fans clearly seem to think they did.
Oh, great, yes. Yeah, well, I mean, I can't make a judgment. I haven't seen what she's done with the part. I'm excited by and interested in it, yeah. What can I say? Do I have to have a sex change? I'm not sure, really. Because I am still the Doctor, technically, in Big Finish, you see.
Yeah.
So,
I was about to say, owning that legacy of being the Doctor, you have children and adults coming up to you at these conventions. What's probably the best thing that someone said to you being at one of these events?
The best thing, I suppose, I don't know. The thing that jumps to mind is it's the extraordinariness of Doctor Who and its universal reach. And I didn't know. I had no idea when I got the part. I just thought, learn the lines and try to bump into the monsters. But when I go around the world, people come up to me and say, "This changed my life." And it happens in various different countries and continents. People come up and say, "I watched Doctor Who, and there's something magical about it." I think it's also because it's shared between generations, and that's what makes it. They talk about, I watched this with my nan or my mum or my dad, and they've passed away, and some young teenagers were at university and going through a bad time, and somehow they get solace out of Doctor Who. And you think, I don't know, I'm just doing my job. And so that's very touching. And it happens, everywhere you go, and it's always a surprise. And people have even said, I was going to kill myself, and then somehow there was something in Doctor Who kept me alive. And you think, wow, I should have taken it more seriously when I was doing it.
You mentioned briefly about your time in the theatre there. Is there a role in the theatre that you've yet to do that you would really want to do?
Well, for years I wanted to play Richard III, really. Now is the winter of our discontent mid glorious summer by the sun. But now, at my age, I'll just get the hump.
So I was just wondering, are the lunches at Big Finish as legendary as I've been read?
Oh, yes, they are. They are. They are. It's the best restaurant in town, honestly. And Toby, he records the things. He runs the studio. And somehow, miraculously, he produces these astonishing meals. And it's just a huge spread, and all in a little cupboard. Don't know how he does it. He must get in. It's a TARDIS. When he closes the door, most likely there's a whole pile of chefs in there. And then when he opens it, it's like, yeah.
He's doing the Big Finish productions a bit like a reunion when you get to work with people you've worked with decades previously again.
Yes, no, that is the lovely thing. It's also the terrifying thing because sometimes you can't remember them. But especially get to my age, you think, oh God. And they come up and say, oh, how nice to see you. And yes, he said, we worked together before. Of course I remember. Yes, just testing you. But it's funny, with fans, they come up and they say, oh, do you remember me? I met you 10 years ago, And now they're a young man wearing a beard. 10 years ago, they were a kid. And I've got to say, oh, yes, now I see you without the beard.
Personally, what's next for you? What's coming up? What should we be looking out for?
Well, Sense8. Have you heard of Sense8?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the film's coming out in June. The final film, which is sad in a way. It's the final film because it is a great piece. I think it's a very important piece. It's like a bit like Doctor Who somehow became an important piece for people's, kind of help people. And I think Sense8 very important and great fun and wonderful to do. And what a great bunch of actors because I got to meet them all. And they really are nice people. You think, and that's the Wachowskis because they obviously cast them. It's a bit like Peter James. No, not Peter James. He was another director. Peter Jackson. Yeah, he cast The Hobbit with such nice people. And had that great wisdom there because, it's going to be 3 years these people are going to be hanging out together. You maybe go for someone who's nice, but maybe not as good as someone who's nasty. But overall, it works really well. And the Wachowskis did the same. I was very sad though when they cancelled the third season because when I did the second season, the chief writer came to me and said, "We've got plans for you in the third season." And then he went and cancelled it, the bastards. But then, luckily, the fans created mayhem and Netflix said, okay, we'll make a film to wind it all up. So it's going to be wound up. That's the next thing. But I'm doing Holby City. I'm playing some old bugger who escapes from a home, gets drunk, ends up in a fight and ends up in hospital. Great part. I don't have to walk. I'm in a wheelchair. I can lie down. Dream acting. and then after that, I'm in Zapped. I don't know what Zapped is.
Yes.
It's on Dave, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sort of fantasy comedy.
It's a fantasy comedy. I think it's quite brilliant, don't you? It's really funny. That's why I decided. When they asked me when I saw it, I thought it was hilarious. And Peter Kay's in it, and he is outrageous, joyful to watch. He's this Jewish Rastafarian wizard, and he eats the furniture. I mean, he eats it with such joy, and you just hug yourself with laughter. It's great. Anyway, I'm doing a bit in that. I play the ruler of this mad lunatic place. And then I'm off to Edinburgh to do a remount of a play I did last year called A Joke with Bob Picardo of Star Trek.
Dan Freeman.
And written by Dan.
Yeah.
And also Johnny Bett is in it. So there's Johnny Bett's a famous Scottish actor up in Scotland, and I've worked with him, smashing bloke. So that's that's August. And then I'm off on a bucket list desire. I'm going by train from St. Pancras to Ho Chi Minh City. By train all the way. I'm going from St. Pancras to France, Paris, Moscow through to stopping off at 3 cities in Siberia, Mongolia, China, Vietnam, and then I'm going to Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and then I've got to go to Bangkok, because in Bangkok, hopefully, all being well, my first grandchild will arrive. And that's why I'm going to make it an epic journey. Just, Tolstoyan kind of journey to meet my grandchild.
Do you plan on filming it and putting it up somewhere?
I might. Yes, I do. I've got one of those things. You can handy things. I've just seen them. Yeah, I've been trying to work out how to make it work. I haven't had time yet. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to record the whole thing. Bore the pants off the world.
It's fine. Just get Orlando Bloom to tag along.
Are you into Orlando Bloom?
Who isn't? I think.
Oh, I know people who aren't, but anyway.
Talking of lunatics, I'm afraid we have to let you get back to the ones downstairs.
All right.
Thank you.
I thought you were talking to lunatics.
very
Right.
much.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.